Okay, sorry. So the main objective here, guys, is to implement DCP version 4 to operate across multiple lands. Okay, that's what actually we'll be looking at or we'll be doing together. So we'll be looking at the concept of DCP version 4. Then configure a Cisco iOS DCP version 4 server. Then also to configure the Cisco iOS router to act like, a client. Okay, so that router of yours can also act like a client. At the same time, it can act like a server. So those are the main things that actually we have here. So with the concepts, DCP, I know it's not the first time you are hearing about the DCP version 4. It has been there. In fact, even when we were doing CCNA 1, we talked about DCP version 4. But today now I want us to look at it and also have some configurations here in details to see how it's operate on the end device. At the same time, how can you set it also on a Cisco router? So those are the main things actually that we have. So we know very well that its main purpose is to assign the addresses and other network configurations, dynamically. So when you set data, so it will be able to save your time. I remember someone was asking, can we do, instead of doing it manually, can we have TCP? Yes, it's possible. Of course, on a corporate network, you cannot start doing each of those devices one by one. So you'll have to set, a DCP, whether a client, it could be Windows, actually Windows server being set to act like a, server so that it can, assign you the addresses. So it is very, very useful because, as we have said, it helps you in various things. Okay, the workload, it reduces the task and also saving your time because you can automatically assign several devices within a given pool at a go. So that's actually why we need it there, so that actually we can have that being configured. So it do assigns or sometimes or releases these addresses from a pool of addresses, okay, for a limited period of time chosen by the server or until the client no longer needs the addresses. That is, if you don't set the lease period, that's what we meant. So you can set the lease period so that it can now go for a specified period. So before the lease expires, it will force you to contact the server so that it can retain the same address for you. And if you don't, that's the time you'll find that your IP address will be automatically be taken back to the pool and will be reassigned another address. So that means next time when you're getting back to that network, you'll have to contact the server, okay, or rather your device will have to contact the server for another IP address. So these clients that we have said do list the information from the server for an administratively defined period that has been set there. So you as the administrator, you can set these, leases to, timeout at a given intervals or different intervals. So it could be anywhere from 24 hours to a week or more, depending with how you have set it. Okay, so immediately that lease period expires, you have no otherwise but now again to ask for another address. Okay, another address. So in that case, as you have said, you can be reassigned the same address if it's still available, it has not been used, or you can be given a different IP address. So it depends. It depends in this case with what is available at that particular pool. Okay, so you cannot force that you want the same address that you are using are there. So if you look at the operations of the DCP, another important protocol, as we have said, it operates under 4 major steps or 4 major operations. Okay, is the way actually it do operates. So in that case, we are talking about the client server mode, okay, where you are the client and the server. That server would be within your network, LAN, or a remote network, okay? Either way, you're supposed to get your IP address. If the server is in Nakuru, or rather the server is in Nairobi, and the clients, are all over, another one in Nakuru, etc., still you should be assigned the addresses are there, because sometimes the server don't have to be in the same network as with your device. It's not a must. So it depends where the server has been set, where the server has been set are there. So therefore you must contact the server periodically to extend the lease if at all you want to retain the same. Okay, so when that expires, as you have said, it returns the address to the pool where it can be reallocated as necessary. Okay, and if you want to obtain a lease, okay, or in that case, you want to have your, let's say you want to have your IP address first. You want to have your IP address. So usually there are 4 steps, as we have said. DORA, that is discover, offer, request, and acknowledgement. It's a 4-step process for you to obtain your IP address. So the first step is always, what I'm calling discover, where you as the client will be broadcasting. You'll be broadcasting. You as the client will be broadcasting. So I would like to request an address, that's the client. From where? Okay, of course, from the server. Then the server in return will respond back to you with the offer. And this time round with unicast. The first one, it was broadcasted because you see, you don't know where the server is on your network. You don't know where the server is on your network. So because you don't know where the server is on your network, therefore, you see, you broadcast. Then with your request, the server will receive it. Then now it will respond back to you with the offer. So I am the server. Here is an address offer. So this offer could be one if it's the only one available, or it could be a pool of addresses. You can be given several of those addresses which are available within the pool. Okay, so after receiving that offer, you're supposed now to do what? Again, to accept the offer. Okay, by informing the server, okay, that yes, I'll accept it. So again, you send a broadcast, meaning it's a request you are sending out that you have accepted the offer. Okay, the reason being you don't know the server who is serving you, and you don't know how many servers are there on the network. And that's why that server, that broadcast is still ongoing from the client. Then finally, the server, not the server, but the server will acknowledge, okay, your acceptance. The server will acknowledge your acceptance, meaning you have agreed, with those offers. So that means no one will be given that IP address as long as you are active on the network. So it is meant for you until again it expires, the lease period expires, okay, or until you requested it again. So that's the main process usually that do run, okay. Do you want to renew your address? The lease period is about to expire and you want to renew it? Yes. Again, this one will involve only 2 steps, okay. The third step and the last step that we have seen in the previous slide here, okay. Those are the only 2 steps that will be required, not the entire process again, okay. Where you'll have to send a request. So before the lease expires, you'll have to send a request directly to the server that offered you that particular address, okay. But if that acknowledgement is not received, you send a request but there's no acknowledgement, the acknowledgement has not been received within the amount that you had specified or was specified, then the client will be forced to broadcast it again, okay, so that one of the other server can extend the lease, Then there will be now acknowledgement. On receiving that request, then the server verifies the lease info by returning another acknowledgement or returning an acknowledgement. So you can see it's just a process that we have there. Usually that's how it do operate. Now, before we move on with the Cisco iOS server, now the router being configured as a server. So I want us now to look at the end device practically. Then we can proceed to now the other one. Let's just do away with this one. So this is what actually we meant. So when you have an end device, okay, you have a switch somewhere. You have a switch, okay. Then an end device, okay, which is a server, is somewhere. Then you have your PCs. You have your PCs somewhere, okay. You can have as many as possible, including the printer and what have you. So assuming that this is actually what you have, then you want now to connect them to various Ethernet ports that you have. That's your server. Then this server of yours will be linked to the switch, then switch to the end devices. So you can just pick any of these one randomly, any available port randomly, okay. There's no order unless you are dealing with a pre-configured activity where you will be required to use what you have been told. But if not, just use any of the available port. Okay, there's no order. As you can see, I'm just using any of these available port there. Okay, so the entire scenario that you can see here, guys, is what I'm calling this one, this kind of this kind of network is what you are calling client server model. client server model. It's a client server, a model. Okay. You have the server. This server of yours is not just the server, but it is the DHCP, DHCP, okay, version 4 server. Okay, this is actually the DCP server. The DCP server. Oh, sorry. Why am I removing that? So it is the server actually you are configuring there. That's your server. So in that case, you'll be able now to configure this server of yours by going to that server. Okay. So of course, for those who have interacted with the servers, Windows Server, it will be Windows 2012, 20. Nowadays, there are a lot of Windows servers. Huh? Those who have done Microsoft app courses or products, I want to believe you are familiar with most of these servers. Okay. So what we are looking at are some of the services that are being offered within this. So this remains just a simulation, and we are very specific with the DHCP version 4 here. Okay. Then the service must be enabled. It means it has to be on. It has to be on. Okay. The server pool, yes, you can set your own server pool there, or you can just use, let's use the default one that is given here. Okay. But you can have your own pool, not the server pool, different pools, because you might be having different, representing maybe different departments or different schools, for example. Okay. Then remember, you have the network address that you have been given. With this server automatically. On your network, we have those addresses, or rather those devices, which you need to configure manually, and especially those devices which are not being moved on the network. The ones which are not being moved on the network. Those ones you can just assign manually. With what addresses actually do you have? Okay, the kind of addresses that will be used actually to configure this. So which are these addresses? Okay, the one that you're going to exclude. You see, you cannot use the entire block of address, so you can exclude some of those addresses are there. So given, for example, here, given, let's go back, given, assuming now you have been given 192.168.1.0, let's say prefix 24, for that matter. Okay. So this actually is what you have. This is the address. So you just want to exclude some of these addresses that you can use later. Okay, to assign other devices, maybe manually. So I'm going to exclude some of these addresses. So I can opt to exclude. I can opt to exclude 3 addresses, 4 addresses, the first 5 addresses, the first 10 addresses. It's upon you how you want to set it. Okay, how you want to set it. So now, so you can see we have the full name, default gateway. So I want to use the first usable IP address, the first usable address of that network. Let's say 192.168.1.1. Okay. So that, what does that mean? So that means what? That means that, what do you call it? That 1.1 will not be assigned to any other device automatically or through DCP because already it is occupied. The other one is this, .2. I want that .2 to be my DNS server, okay, DNS server, and maybe 1.3, okay. Now I can leave 1.3 and start maybe from 1.4. So you can see start IP address. Start IP address is 192.168.1.4. Okay, so meaning I've left out 1.1, 1.2, 1.3. Okay, intentionally because 55, because those, in other words, is what I've excluded are there. Then you can control your server. You can control your server. Like you see, the maximum number of users that you want to be set on your network. So you can see by default, there are 512. Okay, how many devices do we have here? How many? 1, 2, 3, 4. So how about if I have decided I need only those 4? You see, I'm controlling my network. I'm managing my network. Okay. In case you have a TFTP server or a wireless LAN controller, again on your network, you can just go ahead and assign them with the IP address manually, meaning you can exclude more. You can exclude more for the FTP servers and the wireless LAN controller, if at all they are there, okay? But for now, you can just leave it blank because we don't have any set. Then, after that, you need to add, sorry, full name already exists. Yeah, full name already exists. Let me just save instead of adding because already it is there. Okay, I'll just save. So this is actually what we have. Okay, this is actually what we have. Then, remember, I'm setting this server of yours with these addresses, this server of yours with these addresses. But again, don't forget that your server also need to be identified on the network with an IP address. And that's why I'd left out 1.3, so that I can use it to uniquely identify this server. So what I'll do, I'll go to desktop. Okay, I'll go to desktop here, guys. Then IP configuration. Then I can set 192.168.1.3. Okay, so meaning I've used 1.1 as a default gateway. I've used 1.2 as the DNS server, and now I'm now using 1.3 to, uniquely identify that server. What was the default gateway that I'd set? I'd set 192.168.1.1.1. Okay. What was the DNS server that I'd set? I'd set 192.168.1.2. Okay. So basically, this is what you need to add here. Okay. Then remember, I must go back to services again and update these changes. So I need to save again. I'll have to save again. Okay. Because I don't want them to disappear. Because if you don't save, you'll find that your previous settings now might disappear are there. Okay. So in that case, I'll now go back to these PCs. to these PCs and now start, from any of these PCs. Okay. So remember, which one is the first IP address are we expecting as per our configurations? That will be assigned to the first device. This is one here. This is one. Which one will be the first IP address? As per our configurations, 1 dot what? 1 dot. What was our start IP address? Yes, 4. Correct. 4. So it means, therefore, guys, the first IP address will be 1.4 from any PCs that you have selected. So I'll go to that PC. Okay. Then DCP. Okay. Then IP configuration. Then I select DCP here. I select DCP. Okay. Here. So I expect the first one to be number 4, as you can see. DCP request successful. So you can see you have the first IP address 1.4, of course, the subnet mask, the default gateway, and the DNS server address also being assigned. The second one, this one will be now 1.5. Okay, IP. Okay, DCP, as you can see, is now 1.5. 1.5. Okay. The other one will be the printer. The printer does not have a desktop, so don't confuse that one. It's a printer. So with a printer, you go to config, then the interface of that printer. The port of that printer is what you are assigning, the port of that printer. Okay. Then you select DCP up here. So it will be 1.1.6, as you can see here. It is 1.6. Okay, given there. I know someone is being tempted to ask about the default gateway. Okay, so this is actually what is given, as you can see. It is the interface configurations are there. Then you can move to the laptop, the last one, desktop, IP configuration, again DCP. Then this become now 1.7, as you can see. Okay, so basically, because we'll be interacting with the command line, so if you just have IP config, enter, you'll be able to see those addresses assigned. Those addresses assigned to you. Okay. In case there'll be a conflict, then you'll have to release that address, assuming it's a conflict of the address. So IP config / release, in case there's a conflict. So you'll find that if you look at it, nothing, okay, assigned. Then you renew, IP config renew, so that you can get the new IP address. Okay. So give it time, then you can see you have that IP address. Remember, we have set the maximum to be 4. So we don't expect more than that. So if we had not set that, meaning there'll be more available. So you can be given randomly what is available. But because you have set the maximum, it means that 1.7 is what is available for now. Assuming, guys, that you are adding the third or rather an additional device here. An additional device here. Okay. And don't forget, you had set the maximum to be 4. But this is the 5th device now coming in on your network. And the client or the students coming to you or the colleagues is coming to you that I can't get the IP address. So for you know very well, you had set the maximum to be 4. So because you want to control your network, device comes in as you add one by one, so that will help you monitor these devices on your network. So if you get back again to this desktop, okay, IP config, then DCP, let's see what will happen. It's being requested, okay, it's being requested, requesting IP address, but it's taking time, okay. So what are we getting? You can see it has failed. It has failed, okay, it has failed. So you can go and check under IP config the kind of IP address that you have. IP config here, IP config, IP config, yes, okay. You see, you don't have any IP address. What is that interface? Default, let me see. Yes, you don't have any IP address assigned to you. But I was expecting just a minute. Let me go back. Static DCP. APIPA, unless the packet tracer has changed. But I was expecting APIPA, that is automatic private IP addressing, APIPA, okay. And you'll be given an IP address. Which IP address is? You'll be given an IP address that starts with 169 automatically, okay, which communicate a lot to you that is either the maximum has been reached, or guys, your cable, the server cannot find you on the network simply because of the cable is faulty, layer 1 is faulty, okay, and such. So usually that's what you will get there. So for you to be able to get that IP address, so you'll have to go back to the server and adjust this maximum. So maybe I want now 5, or I can have 6 for that matter. Okay, 6. Then I can save that. You can see now it is saved here. Then if you go back to the one that you had added there, now you can see finally this is the address I was expecting for you to be assigned. 169, so long as it starts with 169, indicates there's a problem. Okay, indicates there's a problem. This is what I was expecting. But now, sorry, let's go to command prompt and have IP config. Okay, you see, this is actually what I was expecting here. Okay, even including its mask. Of course, this is a class B IP address, but it's one of the reserved special IP address, indicating there's a problem with your network there. So I can again, navigate, okay, or go back to static, then DCP, okay. Then I can use the command IP config renew, okay, renew, so that I can be now assigned now the right IP, the right IP address now number 8. Okay, it's like just going back here. Sorry, it's just going back here, IP, and again static, then DCP, and now you'll be able to have the right IP address now being assigned to you. That's now for the end users, for those users or for those devices that has been set as a server. For those devices that have been set as a server, that's perfect. That's okay. Now let's move on and see, guys, how do you set a router now? Because nowadays it's easier to set a router to act like a server, okay, without necessarily, having your laptop or a desktop being set as a server. And nowadays, again, we have those inbuilt servers that you can acquire, the inbuilt servers. So you don't have to convert your devices to act like a server. So in that case, so apart from, or other than what we have just configured, the server, the end device as a server, you can set the router to act like a server. Okay. Now you have basic understanding of how TCP works and how it can make your job a bit easier. Okay, because now you'll be getting those addresses automatically. But now you're being told, even that router, Cisco router that you have there, you can make it to act like a server, okay? Because iOS is supporting that, feature, okay? It's supporting that feature, so it can act like a server. So this Cisco router of yours will be assigning and managing these addresses, okay? We'll be assigning and managing these addresses. So that's the next lab that I want us to look at. So how do you then configure this Cisco router to act like a server, okay? Now, there are steps which are available, okay? Some few steps, of course. Usually there are about 1, 2, 3, 4 steps. So there are just few steps that are available. So first, as we have said, guys, you need to do what? You need to exclude, as already stated, you need to exclude some of those addresses. Okay, it could be one IP address being excluded, or you can deal with a pool of addresses being excluded. So exclude IP4 addresses. So a single address or a range of addresses, yes, specifying the low to the highest. For example, I want to exclude 192.168.1.1 all the way to 1.10. So meaning the first 10 IP addresses have been excluded, meaning they won't be used to assign these addresses or our PCs. So excluded addresses, the one that you have excluded, guys, can actually be used in this case to, to configure routers, servers, printers, and any other devices, okay, that you might have on your network, or the one that require manual configurations. Remember, the manual configurations is more secure in terms of security, it's more secure than the DCP, okay? You can also enter the command multiple times, okay? Of course, that depends on the different pools that you have. You can have multiple, multiple addresses being entered within the global mode, multiple of them, depending on the number of departments, number of number of schools, number of branches that you have. So the command that you have is IP DCP excluded address, low address to high address will be specified. Then you can have a pool. You can have a pool, IP DCP pool, then the pool name. Okay, this pool name is useful, especially as we have said, you might be having different pools or different areas, different departments. This particular pool has got this address or this subnet, and especially when you have done the subnetting, after doing the subnetting and you want to set, okay, it based on the subnets, maybe maybe finance, okay, maybe as one pool separately, admin office as another pool separately, the HR office as another pool separately, etc. So it depends. So you can set them as Okay. So depending on the pool that you're going to set, so we included one. So for example, giving here. Okay. So guys, the first 10.1 all the way to 10.9. So this one, you don't expect them to be assigned to your devices by the server. No. 10. This. Maybe this one mostly uh, assigned example. Okay. Guys, are you there? Am I audible? It seems there's a problem. If you guys are not confirming, oh, good. Okay. I was afraid, but now guys are confirming. Oh, I'm breaking, huh? Okay. I don't know what, maybe it's just network fluctuating. Oh, thank you. So I'm saying that um, you can actually exclude one IP address. You can exclude a range or a pool of addresses, huh? Depending on what you want to do. Then after that, you go ahead and create for different subnets or for different networks. If you said, for example, LAN pool 1, as they've said here, is just for one network. You cannot mix another network. So if you want to have another different network, then it means you are creating a different pool, maybe IP DCP pool LAN 2 or pool, yeah, pool LAN pool 2, LAN pool 2, LAN pool 3. If you'll be having different networks. But remember to exclude those addresses within the global mode as you trying to create the pool. Then within the pool name, what can you define? You can define the parameters, the following parameters. The network, of course, the network to which you belong to, the default router, which is the same as the default gateway. Okay, we call it default router here. And usually it's the first usable IP address 10.1. Okay, the DNS server, which in this case should not be within the range. It's not a must that it's the range of your what? Your subnet. It can be even from outside. The DNS server address is from outside. You can see this totally different network 11.5. It is different from what you have here. Okay. You can also do the domain name if the iOS support that, because some iOS do not support that. Okay, but you can set the domain name. So we'll check whether what we have is supporting the domain name there. Okay, which of course is the domain name of your what? Of your of course your company. Okay, are there. Now also I've said that what happens if the server is not within your network or is not within your premises? Like I said, you might find the server is in Nairobi and you are in Italy, you are in Garissa, okay? And you need that address. And we know very well that a router cannot broadcast. So we know a router do break the domain, and it will not allow any request which has been broadcasted on a particular LAN to go through another network. So what are we supposed to do here? We're supposed now to configure what we're calling a relay. A relay. TCP before relay. Very, very important. Okay. In a complex hierarchical network, enterprise servers are usually usually located centrally. And therefore, these servers may provide the following services: TCP, DNS, TFTP, FTP, as we have seen. Okay, there. So in our figure, for example, let's use this figure of ours to explain our, our concept here. Okay, PC1 is attempting to acquire IP4 address from a server using a broadcast message. PC1, this one here. Okay, in this scenario, R1 is not configured as a this R1. Of course, R1 now is not a server. Okay, because you can see there's a server here. TCP v6 v4, sorry, server here. So it's not R1. It's not R1. Okay. So in that scenario, we'll find that PC1 cannot receive an IP address from that, okay, from that server. Okay, so because it has not been set to the server. Then again, we know very well that a router cannot broadcast those requests that it has received. That's the challenge. So R1 must be configured to relay those messages to the server. So you are in between, okay? You are in between, okay? So I'm the one now relaying your request, huh? So give it to me, then I'll give it to someone else, huh? That this request is from so and so. This request is from Eunice, okay? Please, David, can you respond to it through me? You give it to me, then I give it to Eunice, So it is in between. So that's the point here, relay. You can see where the server is here, okay? So that's the point. So this interface G000 is what will be set with the command relay, which is IP helper address. IP helper address is what now will be set, okay, there. And therefore, it will be able to act like a relay. IP helper address will be able to act like a relay. So you can see that interface G000 on router 1 is being set with the IP helper address by specifying again the IP address of the server here, which is 192.168.11.6, because this is actually what you are targeting. This is what you are targeting. So that also will be set there. So it means on a remote network, that request now will be received through the relay request that has been put in place there. So when R1 has been configured as a relay agent, it accepts broadcast requests for this particular server and then forward those requests as a unicast to this server on the network, as you can see, this server. Now your request will be relayed, okay, and you'll be able to get your IP address. So when you confirm, you'll find that, yes, the helper IP address has been set here, and therefore, so PC1 now will be receiving the IP address from this server. Again, you can see it's on a different network, okay, altogether. So that's actually what you can have. Again, sometimes as a client, you are a router, the customer router, okay? As the customer router, okay, you don't have the question someone is asking, okay, maybe I can respond to it as I move on, that it has disappeared. Let me check on the chat platform again. But I think I've seen a question. Will we configure port G001 as helper as well? No, no, okay, no. Only this. Remember, where is the request coming from? Because G001 is part of that R1, and they are directly linked. So the moment the request has been received by the router, it knows where it's supposed to be taken. Because you see, you have set the helper address on G000 192.168.11.6. So this G001 knows very well where that PC is located because it's a device attached to G001. So it's located. So you're not going to set again G001 with the helper IP address there. No, that one is enough. Just one interface, and also the one connecting the device that is requesting. That's what you will set with that address there. Now, I was saying, sometimes you might have a router. You are the client, the customer. Let's say the ICTA is the customer. And we have Safaricom on the other side as the ISP. So ICTA, because they don't have the server within their network, their router is not acting like a server. That server is somewhere else, now the ISP in that case, okay? And you want all these services to come to you. So in that case, you don't have to set your own, router to be the server. Small office, home office, SOHO, that's the meaning of that. SOHO, small office, home office, no. Instead, you're going to enable the interface with the DHCP, with the IP address DCP command, So it means you are trying to enable the DCP service on an interface so that the ISP will automatically now get you the IP address. Then on return, you now supply your what? You now supply your devices. So that's the point, and that's what they're trying to explain here. Okay. Sometimes Cisco routers in a small office or home office on the branch site have to be configured as client in a similar manner to other computers. Okay. The method used depends on the ISP. Your ISP will guide on that. So, however, in its simplest configurations, the Ethernet interface is what actually will be used to connect to a cable or a modem, depending on what your ISP has provided you. Because all this what will converting now all those requests. Is it a cable that you have? Is it a modem? So there's a modem in between you, okay? So your router as the client, modem, then the ISP router. So connecting that. So modem now will be converting all this. So in the figure, assume that an ISP has been configured to provide a select customer with IP address 209.165.200.0 in that network range after the interface G001, okay, is configured with this particular IP address HCP, IP address DCP. So that's the most thing that actually I want us to take note of here. So you can see on that router of yours, G001, the client router, just simply enable this DHCP service, IP address DCP, okay? So this is what we'll be communicating with the ISP router. Then, of course, what are you getting from the ISP router? The public IP address. And with the public IP address is enough, okay? So it will go ahead and now it knows very well what has been assigned there. So you have linked it, okay, to become now the client router, okay, receiving directly from the ISP, Okay, so therefore the configuration assumes that the ISP has been configured to provide select customers with IP4 address information are there. So that's how also it can be set. So I want us now to look at the last lab configurations as we wind up today's session. Let's now look at that. So what I'll do here, guys, what I'll do here, I'll simply remove, okay, let me add a router here. Let me add a router here, and I'll disconnect this and connect it to this. Okay, so I don't want this. I don't need that. Okay, so now I want to check on this router. So I click on this router. Okay, CLI. Configity. Then same thing, excluding the IP address, excluding the IP address. So which is the pool, okay? So you start by excluding, let's say I'm going to exclude here, the first 10. So I'll do IP DHCP exclude address 192.168.1.1 all the way to 192.168.1.10. This is what I've excluded, the first 10 IP address to be used somewhere else, to do the manual configuration are there. So I've excluded that. Okay, guys. Now, because there's only one pool here, you see this interface cable here, connecting only this part. There's only one pool here. Okay, there's only one pool here. Just a minute, do something here. There's only one pool here. Okay. There's only one pool here, this pool. This pool. Okay. Just a minute, there's something I want to do here. Allow me to do something here. Yes. I have to fill fill color. Maybe okay, I can just have that one. So there's only one pool here. Let me have a clear definition of that. Something's not working for me here. Mm, there's only one pool here. This pool, okay. Just to be clear, just in case I want to add another pool. Okay. So this pool here, pool I'm doing. Then after excluding, I'll go ahead and state the pool for that. IP DHCP pool. I'll call it, can call it HR. Call it HR pool. I can call it HR pool. That side, that side. Okay. Then the network that actually I was given, network for that matter, was 192.168.0.55.55.0. Okay. The default router, same as default gateway, I'm going to take the first usable IP address 1.1.192.168.1.1. Okay. With the DNS server, okay, 192.168, okay, .1. So as I've said, it can be another network. Okay, there. Do we have the IP main for this? Let me control shift question mark. Yeah, it's support. I can see it supporting the domain name. There's some iOS which don't support that. So I can have domain name maybe www.icta. I'm giving example, icta.go, maybe as my domain name there, being supported. Okay. So yeah, those are the main ones that actually I have there as per the services of this iOS here. Then remember your interface, which was G00, is supposed to be set. Of course, that now will be given this address here, the interface. So it has to be set as well. So interface G0/0/0, okay. Then IP address 192.168.1.1, okay, 255.255.255.0, no shut to enable that interface. So this is just one pool you have set. It's just one pool you have set. Okay. Do show run. Just one pool you have set. So you can see here. Okay. Sorry. It's just one pool. You see, you have set here. Okay. So what are we expecting? So we're expecting now this pool, the addresses. Now IP configure. I can again static, then DCP. I expect from 11, because the one which were excluded was from 1 to 10. So I'm expecting from 11 onward. So DCP C 1.11, okay, being assigned are there. Okay. Alternatively, I can just be using the command prompt. Okay. IP config release, because you see there were some that we were added. So release that one, then renew 1.12. Okay, 1.12. So when you just have ipconfig all, ipconfig all, you'll be able to see everything, including the domain name that you had assigned, okay, here, being given here, including the DNS server that you had signed here, okay? So all these details will be assigned. So that now will happen to this, okay? All of them, okay? So here, again, here, because there's no desktop, I mean, there's no screen here, it's just static, then DCP. You assign number 13, yeah, number 13 are there for the printer. This one, was it assigned already? Okay, release, renew. Okay, number 14. This one, this one, this one, okay, release, release, renew. Number 15 or number 16 there. Okay, so you have all those being assigned from this specific pool, from this specific pool. Now, now, assuming now you have something else, okay? Remember what you had assigned on this end. This one here, sorry, what is that? So here, okay? So you have, it means another sub, different branch. Again, you are now extending the same, and you'll be doing the same configuration, but on a different what? On a different interface, okay? On a different interface, huh? So it was G00. Settings for the same this was 1.0. So you want to do 2.0. This server here, okay? But now this now will be a different network. Huh? This now will be a different network. So what I'll do, I'll go back and pick this interface here and connect it to the server. Connect it to the server here. Okay, connect it to the server. But remember, guys, it's now from a different network. It's not the same network. Okay. And this network, this was, let's say, was this network. Okay. So we have now this one, a different network altogether. Okay. We are now setting, we're now setting we are setting a different network there. So this becomes a different network altogether. Okay. Pool are there. Okay. So Are you there? Oh, thank you. Thank you for confirming that. Okay, I was lost, but now it's okay. Now it's okay. Now it's okay. Oh, thank you. So I'm doing this one for the other side of the network, the relay bit. So I'll exit. Okay, and now set this one interface G00, sorry, G/0/1. Then the IP address that actually I'll set here, okay, the first usable IP address on this interface for it to be up 192.168 dot 1 no dot 2.1. Okay, I hope we are together. Dot 2.1 because I'm trying a different network. Dot 0. Okay, then let's just enable it to be up for that interface. This interface here. Okay, that's all I interface. Then here I can return the same pool, but I'll change this to be the default gateway, of course, is 2.1 because of that interface. Okay. I want to exclude, yes. I want to exclude. So for the server, I have to set 2.2. Okay, 2.2. Then this IP address of mine, okay, I'll set 2. Start IP address will be 2.4. Okay, 2.4. I can set the maximum maybe to be 10. Then I can save this. As you can see. I can save this. Okay, here, start IP address. Okay, with that one. Then I'll go back to this PC. Give it 2.3. 2.3. Okay, 2.3. Then 2.1. Then so 2.2. The server 2.2. Can't confirm. I think that's what I'd given the server. Yeah, 2.2. Okay. Then I need to save that. Okay. I need to save that. So yeah, 2.3. Okay. Then, so remember what you have said. Okay. So this G00 is what now will be set as the helper address. But now, defining the IP address of this server, 2.3. Was it? Yeah, 2.3, that the one that we have just set, 2.3. Okay, there on this relay. So here, you'll go back to G00. Okay. G00. Then interface G0/0/1. Then IP helper address 192.168.2.3, the one for the server. the one for the server. Now, that reminds me that that G00, remember we had set. So it is also acting, that interface state is acting as the server. So I need to remove completely this interface G00, not to interfere, okay? Not to interfere again with the services of the server, okay? The services of the server. So what I'll be doing here, let me do this. Sorry. Exit. So what am I supposed to remove? Remember, you remember the IP, this one. Hopefully they're still available. Okay, what I can do here, guys, I can just go up. Sorry for that. I want to remove this, because I'd set it. You see this one here? This one here. Okay. Copy. Then come down here. No. Okay, paste. I'm removing that. Okay. Yes, also we had set the pool on G00. So everything that we are on G00. So below it, we had set all this, which again we need. So you just need to remove pool. The moment you remove pool, it will go away with all those stuff that are there. Okay, because you don't need pool. Okay, don't need that pool that we had set again are there. So again, no. Did I copy it? The pool. I've selected but not copied it. So I need to remove this. Copy. Then pool. Okay. So do show run. Just to confirm that on interface G00, there'll be no interference. There'll be no interference. So we have only now G001 being set. So G00, we have removed that, and you have set the LPAM IP address there. You have set the LPAM IP address there. Okay. So this actually what I was saying. You have the server in a different subnet, in a different branch. Okay, but your request is being sent. Okay, to the other network. Let's see whether it will be able to operate. Static. Then DCP. Hopefully it will be able to pick it. Unless there's something I've not again. Okay, there's something I think I need to check. Did I set just a minute? Just a minute on this end. On this end, yes, I'd enable that. 255.255.250. Maximum 10, 2.2, 2.1, default gateway, server pool, 2.2, start from 2.4 to 55. Okay. About its run, yeah, 2.3, correct, 2.1, 2.2. So there's no problem with this. There's no problem with this side. As we have seen there, that interface is well taken care of. Yes. Okay. So it means on this end, let me just confirm. Oh, let me see again whether it's now picked. I don't think whether any routing protocol will be needed. I don't need any routing protocol here. Yes, it's a problem. It's a problem with my router. Do show run. It's a minute to confirm that everything is in order. You just did. Okay, that's okay. Using the one IP address. Oh, okay. The helper address, that's okay. Okay. Just checking on this. I'm trying to analyze where the problem could be. We have said that. Okay. Let me try the other one. Command prompt. If that will fast track the process, IP config. Okay, that's okay. Release. Renew. Still, there's a challenge. We can simulate using packets and see whether this very good. It has failed. So let's see. The packet simulation is here. Simulation of packets. So I want to see whether okay. Yes, G00. I think that's what I'd set. Or did I set G001 or G00? The helper. I'd set the helper. Okay. Let me see. Thank you. I think maybe I'm exhausted, but they is supposed to be on G00. Sorry for that. It's supposed to be on, because you see, this G00 is what is supposed to send that request. So sorry for that. So okay. 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 Supposed to be on G00. paste, paste. To show that yep, yep, yeah. Oh, it's okay. No, it's okay. Let's see now whether that will give us some hope there. So we had release, renew. Might take some time, I know, but let's see how far it will go. Let's see. I know it's still searching. Oh, sorry. I'm still on simulation mode. It's supposed to be real-time mode. Oops, sorry. I just remembered. If it's command, it's supposed to go back to, you know, it's supposed to go back to why failing? Why failing? Let me see. The other one, static IP. Okay, maybe maybe we need to check. I need to check where the problem is. There's something maybe I'm missing out. There's something I'm missing out. Yes, G000. Yeah, that's what you have done. Thank you. Initially, I'd set it on G001 by a mistake, but I later changed it to this. You can see it is here. It is here with the IP address of the server. It's the IP address of this server. Okay. Let me see. Let me see. Dot one. Okay. IP address of this server. It's a DNS, sir. This one is 2.2. DNS server 2.1. Because now this is what is being recognized here. Okay, maybe allow me to troubleshoot it and find out where the problem is. Where the problem is, then tomorrow, the first thing before moving on, I should be able to explain where the problem is. Sorry for that. Just give me some few minutes. I'll go troubleshoot it tomorrow. We can as well try yours. Can as well try yours. Then we'll actually see at this tomorrow. We can even compare notes together. In case you come up with solutions, you can just let us know. But I think it's a very simple concept. I don't know why, because we don't need any routing here for it to operate. It's just directly connected interfaces, supposed to be working without any problem here. So that's that. That's that. So I'll find out where, and I'll let you know. Okay. So let's stop here for now. And guys, tomorrow I want to meet you. I know tomorrow so tomorrow I would like to meet you from, okay, from 3. That's okay. Well, at least by 5 or by 5:15, I can release you, because I'll be having another tight program that will not allow me to meet you at 5:30. Just reminding you or informing you the same, so you can inform your colleagues who are not here that you can meet tomorrow from 3, and that's okay. Together, okay. Yeah. Then understand. I don't know, but I've heard people saying there's a Friday holiday that is coming up on Friday. So I don't know how true that one is. I've not received any memo from KU, or I've not heard anything. But let's actually see what you can do tomorrow. So thank you guys so much. I'll check what the problem is, then I'll come up with a solution. I might post to the group when I'll be able to, find out where the problem is. If you do before us, you can also post the solution for us to understand. So thank you so much, guys, and enjoy the rest of your evening. See you tomorrow at 3.